Welcome all, ye of Beeftown. This is the Bucket of Beef Show.
Bucket of Beef Show.
Hey everyone, my name is Alex Morrison.
My name is Luke Hodson.
And we are here with what is known as the fourth episode of this podcast. If you are still here, thank you so much for joining us. We have a really exciting episode for you today. Luke, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm feeling good.
Feeling good?
Yee. How about ye?
I'm pretty good.
That good?
I had coffee not too long ago. I ventured into Manhattan for the first time in a while. And yeah, I had lots of coffee.
I think I had 4 cups of coffee today, which for me is absolute insanity.
Oh my God.
Most of the time I don't drink coffee. I maybe drink I don't know, the most I'll drink in a day is 2 cups.
Okay.
So I'm still kind of wired from that, and I have barely eaten anything. I'm not hungry because I'm so caffed up.
So
here we are, caffed, lightheaded,
See,
ready for a podcast.
Yeah, I'm shaky as fuck.
Ooh.
Right now. And cold. It's super cold.
It is chilly in our apartment.
But yeah, what are we doing today?
We are talking about 2, dare I say, classic films.
Classic
Very
films.
classic films. We don't have a goof pick this time. We'll try to interject our own. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
So what's the first movie that we're talking about, Alex?
The first movie we're talking about, we watched last night. I'm scared to talk about this.
I'm excited that you're so scared to talk about it.
The first film we're going to talk about today is Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, which came out in 1981.
1981.
And it was directed by Steven Spielberg. Oh boy.
John Williams had the incredible score in there.
Yes, classic.
So just so everyone knows, I've seen all of the Indiana Jones films. We picked this one because Alex has... The only Indiana Jones film he'd ever seen is Indiana Jones, and is it The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull or The Crystal Skull? Can't remember the exact name of it. But that's the only one he'd seen, and I thought that was sacrilege.
I think it's... Yeah.
And I made him watch the other one. So, Alex, since you just watched the first one yesterday, can you do the opening theme off the top of your head?
Yeah, the opening theme,
just
song.
the theme, yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Perfect.
Yeah. I was so excited to see Alfred Molina be immediately killed in the first 5 minutes of this movie.
Yeah, I didn't even notice Alfred Molina in it, honestly. Who did he even play in the beginning?
He was the guy who got stabbed with all the spikes.
Oh.
Yeah, who tried to betray him. He's like, give me the artifact. We don't have time to
They
argue.
really had his name in big ass font at the beginning too.
They really did.
I wonder if they
he was gonna be a
teased
main
him
player.
when it was first put out. But I don't know how big Alfred Molina was at that
the
time.
I don't think he was big, man.
Yeah.
I think that might have been his first film role.
Are you serious?
I think so.
Really?
I'll look it up.
What's the synopsis of the first Indiana Jones film, Alex?
Yes, according to IMDb, archaeology professor Indiana Jones ventures to seize a biblical artifact known as the Ark of the Covenant. While doing so, he puts up a fight against Renee and a troop of Nazis.
Ooh.
That's our synopsis.
It's a pretty apt summary. Pretty good.
I'm ready to be bashed for this.
All right. So let's hear your hot take with Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Luke, I didn't like it.
You didn't like it?
I didn't like it.
Why didn't you like it?
We were talking with someone a little bit ago who was like, it was kind of confusing. Mm-hmm. It is kind of confusing. And I think when we had talked about Kingdom of the Crystal Skull and they're aliens and you were like, well, it doesn't really matter. That doesn't matter. That kind of stuff doesn't happen in other Indiana Jones movies. I watched people's faces melt off by looking in a box in this movie.
It's a biblical box.
Okay.
It has the power of the Lord.
The light of God melted people's faces. Melted the Nazis' faces. Mm-hmm. And I thought you were messing with me when the Ark got put into a box and the box burned the Nazi symbol off of it, which is fuck yeah, but also I was like, is that real? And you're like, yeah, that's real. It's because God hates the Nazis. And I'm like,
As he would.
And I was just like, wait, why? Yeah, but I mean, the first 20 minutes with the first adventure getting the little golden statue, I've seen that done so many times, and it was so cool to see the original version of the big stone ball like rolling down and him running and like the big sack of sand he replaces to try to weight the little gold statue. I was also a big fan of the female lead in this, which I really want to make sure I mention her name. Karen Allen. Karen Allen is excellent in this, and it really just she takes a beating.
She does.
Many times.
She's bruised and abused.
While Indiana Jones is like, I got shit to do. I promise I'll come back.
Yeah, when he did. How do you like it when he left her in the tent?
He left her in the tent. She was being tortured. Well, she wasn't being tortured, but she was like tied up
and not
like
fed.
Not fed.
Yeah.
She's had no water. And even before that, he basically helps in burning down her bar that she's very proud. She's like, this is mine. I will do what I want in my bar. And like gets burned down. She's like, I'm going with you. And
we never saw him give her the rest of the money, by the way.
Nope.
She took the 3,000. She took the cash advance, and then who knows how it went. She isn't in the second one.
See,
so
and I didn't know
Indiana
that.
probably fucked her over.
No,
honestly, and what I kind of appreciated about it is like, and I think this is a pro and a con. I think it kind of like shows the time where like Indy's just like shitty to his allies. Like he doesn't like they don't really net a whole lot from being around him. He kind of like they're just like there to help him cuz like they've established connections before. I thought it was kind of funny how dude, she like her character is still like in love with him, basically.
Which
and, like,
is
she doesn't
psychotic.
show it a ton, but she's like, you fucked me over. They basically kind of like paint it in the beginning that like
they've known each
he
other for 10
basically
years. They've known each other,
her
for
as
10
a student.
It's just so messed up. And then also
he's like evil, not evil. He's like anti-hero, like non-superhero Clark Kent. In a way, especially the way that they display him, like in his professor mode, he has like his spectacles on,
and then puts on his contacts when he's in adventure mode.
When he's in adventure mode, he puts his contacts in.
But also,
and they
just
stay
to go back, because I was thinking about it, it happens 3 times where he's like, kind of fuck this girl, because the third time is on the boat at the end, right when the Nazis come onto the boat. And like he like runs out of the room and he's like, I'll be back. And then they kidnap her for a second time. I was like, dude, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Also, they really play up snakes. And I wasn't like, I mean, I hate snakes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I hate them.
Yeah, I hate them.
It is kind of, I think it's, when I was a kid, I thought that was like, and for me, this is kind of the hard thing to talk about with Indiana Jones is I feel like I can't look at it truly objectively because I have so much childhood nostalgia attached to it.
Sure.
Like I basically remember every scene.
Let me ask you
in that film. I like played Lego Indiana Jones as a kid.
What is it about Indiana Jones comparatively to anything else in your childhood that you're like, I want it to be him or I want it to be on the adventure? Like,
I think the adventure always looked exciting.
Okay.
The adventure always looked really exciting. I think for me it was probably like as ridiculous as like the action is and as over the top as some of the like the ancient like puzzles and traps and like structures and things that they look at.
Okay.
When I was a kid, I feel like that was the most like of this world sort of fantasy that I watched.
Okay.
And so I thought that was exciting as a kid. My mom was also really into the Indiana Jones films.
Is it because Harrison Ford is a fucking hunk?
He's a fucking hunk in this. I mean, it's undoubtedly.
Yeah.
He's handsome as hell. He got the girl in the very beginning with the I love you.
Oh, yeah,
with
the I love you
I
on
love
her
you written on her
eyelids?
eyelids.
He's like, wait, what?
Listen, Harrison Ford can get it. And they know that. They know that he's that sex symbol of that time. Like, he's a rugged, handsome man. Like, I don't know if he was ever in like a Marlboro commercial. I don't know how cigarette ads were back then, honestly.
So okay,
but he's like that kind of like. I also enjoyed how basically all the protagonists in this film were basically fueled by alcohol. I loved the
when she's in the middle of the fight in the bar
and she fucking
she
chugs
dips
the
her head
whiskey.
she's like and starts shooting people again. Also, he murders people.
He murders so many
so unfairly. That one big guy
with a sword.
Yeah, they like. I thought it was gonna be a cool fight. He's like wearing all black. He has these big machetes, And he's like, yeah, bring it. And he's like, nope. Pew, and just shoots him in the chest and walks away. No remorse.
Indiana Jones gets very lucky in a lot of these too. He gets saved at the bar. He gets saved by children. I think that was my favorite way that he got saved.
No, man.
Is when the children go into the fucking hookah bar and drag his ass out because he's about to get beat by a Frenchman.
No,
and a bunch
every
of
person
Egyptian
in that
guys.
bar has a gun pointed
All
at him.
strapped.
And a group of children come in. And I looked at Luke and I was like, he's making these children defend him. Like, I don't know, man. That was wrong. That was wrong on his part, or like the father's part.
I can't remember. Like, were those all of that guy's kids? Like the Egyptian guy?
I think so.
The digger guy.
Yeah.
I honestly, he's one of my favorite characters in the show.
He's very fun
in the movie, because he's just like he's just on board and he's just ready to have fun. I loved how they were able to just like have their whole own like digging operation on the Nazi site. Yeah. and this one of my pros for this, I loved like the practical set usage that they had for the film. I think it's also funny that like while they're looking for this ark, they're like in this beautiful antechamber of like perfectly preserved hieroglyphics and like bronze like and ebony statues.
No, they go in because there's a perfectly replicated city that has been untouched. Mm-hmm. It's so clean, crisp.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'll talk about my pros a little bit, and I have some questions.
What are your
questions? And I want to know if you can answer some of these questions.
I'll see what I can do.
Okay. Number one. So Indiana Jones is a professor at a university.
He's an archaeologist. Graduate of University of Chicago.
Okay, and he goes on adventures.
Yep.
And these adventures, are they more or less funded?
They're funded by the government.
They're funded by the government. He was funded
by the United States government to fight Nazis and get the Ark of the Covenant, just so the Nazis couldn't have it.
When he murders people, and I mean like
Do you think he has a license to kill? Is that what you're saying?
No, he doesn't. He teaches in a school. So like when he
but
is
he keeps
like
that thing on him.
He had his gun in his suitcase and no one said anything. I just like, I don't know. That's confusing to me. I'm like, okay, so
I also feel like maybe planes worked that way before 9/11. Like, we don't know. Showing our age, we're children of 9/11, basically. Yeah. So we don't know how flights worked before it. We only know fear and security. And oil wars. That's all we know.
Okay, I guess that makes sense. And then, so the Ark is meant to go into a museum. Mm-hmm. Okay.
That is the agreement. And also, that is the agreement. Confused. But also what's funny to me is they don't get to put it in the museum in the end. The government just puts it into a warehouse with all the other shit that they have.
No, he's like, this is dangerous. That cannot be touched. Yeah. And they're like, whatever.
Well, yeah, we'll take these fools. And then the bureaucracy fails them.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Okay. So I guess that's question number one.
What's the second question?
And question number two, and I know we touched on it a little bit. I really want to know your thoughts on why it was melting faces.
Why it was melting faces.
And also what was the point of it? Like, what was the point of it? Because, I mean, it could have been, I don't know, it could have been filled with anything. And they're like, no, this is the light of God. This is what it is.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on that? So I think it's an interesting thing because there's actually a lot of, and the only thing that I can quote this, that I can, I guess, reference to in this is the Percy Jackson universe.
Okay.
But there's, in a lot of, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm making this up. But I feel like in a lot of lore, for like gods and sort of ethereal figures, is that when you see like a godly thing in its true state, it's so powerful that like a mortal can't withstand it.
So why did Indy then, I mean, him not even knowing was like, close your eyes, don't look, when he was so skeptical of like what the
because the man's got plot armor, basically. Because in the script they have to close their eyes so they survive. But it's sort of this thing like in Percy Jackson they do this too, where like if a god reveals their godly self to a mortal, they'll die. Like they just burn up because it's so powerful.
Does that happen in Percy Jackson?
Yeah.
Does it?
It does.
I read all those books.
I think it happens.
I guess it's been
I think
so
it
long.
happens in the first book. Ares like reveals his he's like fighting Ares basically, and Ares like reveals his true self, and Percy has to close his little mortal demigod eyes so he doesn't burn to a little crisp on the beach that they're fighting. I think they fight on a beach. I don't know. Ares has a motorcycle too, I think.
Yeah.
So now we kind of got a Percy Jackson through line here too.
I will. Okay, so then cool. Do you like the French guy? The French villain?
French guy?
The French rival, I guess.
I kind of liked him. I think he's sort of kitschy and like wah wah, like a sexual deviant for sure.
Yeah.
He's a true naughty guy, bad guy.
True bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It also, oh my god, it was so funny that they play up like, what is her name in it? Something Wood. It's something. Marion Ravenwood.
Marion Ravenwood.
Marion's first tactic in the very beginning of the movie, I think it's for money or something.
Yeah.
But she essentially outdrinks one of her bar patrons.
Yeah, this like Nepali guy, basically.
Yeah, and like really outdrinks this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And her tactic,
we're talking like 20 shots deep.
Yeah, 20 shots deep. And the second tactic is to get as drunk as the French guy, or like to do the same thing.
Yeah.
In the middle of a desert.
The desert.
She hasn't had any water or food. Where does she think she's gonna go?
That is fair. Honestly, I just stuck to my idea of just her getting more powerful the more that she drank. Because of what we had seen from her before.
No, she grabbed that knife too. She's like, ah ha ha ha, and the guy's like, yeah, we're okay. Oh god, man. My big pro for this movie, and I was talking about it with again someone else today, is that it works so well in its practicality that like you don't need, like it wouldn't benefit from CGI. It wouldn't benefit. Mm-hmm. It works so well.
Yeah, what I appreciate about Indiana Jones is I think it really holds up, mm-hmm. even though it is like frankly a very old movie now.
Yeah.
Like what's it basically like 42 years ago?
Yeah.
It came out.
Wow.
Like that's crazy.
Yeah, it works so well in its practicality, and also I think it's like 20 minutes in, someone gets shot straight in the forehead. Yeah. And I was like, is this? And Luke was like, it's PG-13,
baby. Probably the bloodiest thing that I watched as a kid.
Yeah, some of this.
They go all out. Yeah. If there's a lot of murder, they go pretty nutty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it works really well because I definitely, like, in moments of peril, I'm like, oh, this matters. Like, this is like...
Mm-hmm. Like life or death.
Yeah, it's like life or death. Which, I mean, a lot of stuff you see now that's PG-13, you're never going to get that.
Yeah. What do you think was the worst plan that Indiana Jones had?
The worst plan he had?
Yeah. To, like, get out of something.
I feel like I think he said a couple times, he's like, I don't really have a plan.
That is true. He did kind of fly by the seat of his pants the whole time.
He really did.
I think his worst plan was when he was trying to rescue Marion. And he holds up the Nazi convoy with the rocket launcher.
With the rocket, yeah.
It's like, where's he gonna go? Can he pilot a U-boat? Like, does he have his certificate?
Dude, the funny thing was, the French guy was like, I know you're not gonna shoot me or any of these people with that bazooka because you care about history. He was like, he's like, you want to see what's inside this box. And he's like, I just want the girl. And the guy's like, no, you don't.
And he calls his bluff.
He calls his
bluff.
I
do like that about that.
Yeah, but also that should have said a lot to Marion for one.
Oh, for sure.
I would have been like, fuck this guy.
Oh, to Indiana Jones, I feel like that arc is that's why he left her right in the fucking tent. Like, man cares more about his history than human connection.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of a through line for the films.
Is it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
God.
I think so.
Yeah, I can't say I loved it.
Honestly, I think I'm fueled by nostalgia with the Indiana Jones films.
Yeah.
And especially this one.
But I mean, like, I am also, I want to say there are certain types of things I actively, like, can't get behind when it comes to movies. Like, general adventure movies like this, I have a hard time with. The same with, like, space epics outside of Guardians. You know what I mean? Like, I've tried to really enjoy the Star Wars movies, and I do like certain aspects of them, but I'm still like, I'm not, like, you showed me stuff I've really liked, like with the Disney Plus shows. Mm-hmm. I'm like, this is neat. But yeah, this is just one of those things I'm like, I I can't put myself in those shoes like you were able to when you were young, and that's why you're able to like really feel that nostalgic pull toward it. But yeah, I don't know about the beefs, man.
Can I say something really quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna lead with my score for this,
Please.
To be honest, and I love Indiana Jones. Love is a strong word. I have a soft place in my heart for the Indiana Jones series because I think it meant a lot to me. It provided me a lot of entertainment when I was a wee tyke.
I'm so sorry, Luke.
But I'm gonna give it a 6.2 out of 10.
Whoa!
I'm gonna give it a 6.2 out of 10 in my rewatchability for it. In terms of nostalgia, I give it a 9.3. But it's not one of those. Like, to be honest, I think it's more, in some ways, exciting to me as a distant memory than an actual movie for me to rewatch over and over again, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
I think it reminds me of a simpler time, a fun time.
And even like to that detriment, like I have a very similar reaction to one of my favorite movies ever, and notably, I think it's actually a Steven Spielberg movie, Hook with Robin Williams, and like
similar kind of cool, like practical effects.
Practical effects, and it ventures into, I guess, quote unquote CGI. But like, I know a lot of people don't like that movie, but like the wonderment in that movie for me is like off the charts.
Yeah.
Like, I could watch Hook all day long.
I will say I'm getting so wishy-washy on this because I think my personal now score 6.2, my nostalgia score 9.3. I think for the time that Indiana Jones came out, I think it was like a truly like revolutionary movie. I'd give like the overall classic vibe like a similar score to my nostalgia meter. Okay. Somewhere in the 9s probably.
Sure.
Because I think it is a very culturally relevant film.
Sure.
And like Alex said this horrible thing to me last night when we were watching it. I think it was at the end. He's like,
no,
he said they basically ripped off Uncharted.
It was a joke.
But it felt real to me.
I'm so sorry.
And I think like Indiana Jones just like inspired so many other like pop culture kind of staples, I would say. Like you got Tomb Raider, you got the Uncharted series. They just made another Uncharted movie. None of those would exist without Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
And that's my opinion on that. Yeah. Thank you, Steven Spielberg and Hunky Harrison Ford and all you guys.
My score. Mm-hmm. I think it's actually very close to yours. I would give it a 6.5 to 7.
He gives it a higher score than me on my recent viewing score.
I'll give it a 6.7. Well, I mean, like, I have a lot of respect for it. I want to be very clear that I have a lot of respect for it. Like, the first 20 minutes are fantastic. Everyone's great. I love that I felt the peril. I couldn't get with
I do think the basket bit was very goofy.
I couldn't get with
that's so fucking
that was also he just starts knocking everyone.
It's a miracle that all of Cairo didn't like
kill him,
fucking
destroy him.
Man. Yeah.
But damn it, I lost my train of thought.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
It's okay.
It was foolish of me.
Yeah, and just like the use of practicality, I think it's excellent. I just couldn't get behind a lot of the general plot devices. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 6.7. I don't have a nostalgic meter for it, but I think a 6.7 is like a very healthy score for me as my first time viewing it. Yeah, cool.
That sounds good to me.
Wait. Okay, so
what's your bucket of beef score?
Yeah, I was just about to say my bucket of beef score is gonna be. So I think you can buy a cheap steak. An immaculate chef has prepared it as best as he could, but you still are aware that it's rough around the edges. Okay?
Ooh.
I'm gonna put.
You hear that, Steven?
No.
One of your Opus Opie?
No, I'm saying he's
is rough around the edges.
No. I'm
you
saying,
fool.
but he's like a divine chef. It's just the plot devices around it.
It's a simple story.
It's a simple. I mean, sort of. I don't know. I was confused some of the time, but like it's fine. So yeah, that's how I'm gonna rate it. It's a plate of steak. That's just okay. Mildly seasoned.
Mildly seasoned.
Yeah.
I give it a full bucket of beef still.
Okay.
Because it's one of those films where even though I like if I rewatch it, I probably won't feel like honestly particularly excited.
That tells you a lot, Luke.
But I think everyone should see it. You know what I mean?
I agree with
I think
you.
if someone ever told me that they, like you did, that I have not seen Indiana Jones, the first Indiana Jones film, I would say we should watch it. Yeah. Just so
I
you
can also
have that.
I can understand people with that nostalgia
mind.
also being like, you know, I want to show this to my kid and like witness their like adventurous side kind of come out with a film like that, you know? Whereas like for me, I'm like I get it. Like I would show it to my kids and be like, this is important. Let's see what comes out of it. Yeah.
There you go.
All right, we going to commercial.
Forming childhood memories.
Going to commercial.
Going to commercial.
Are we taking an actual break this time?
What do you want to do, huh?
Do you need to pee?
Never.
Okay. All right, Luke. Am I doing sponsorship first time, or are you doing sponsorship?
Sounds like you got to do a sponsorship.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm looking around our general space right now. Okay.
Oh, Roma's making it so easy.
Roma.
Shake it really quick. What do you think that is, audience?
I'm gonna give you the count of 5 to guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's Oreo cereal.
Oreo O's.
Oreo O's, baby.
Oh my.
Yeah. This is gonna be our next sponsor.
We're manifesting that really hard.
So I'm gonna read the description. It says make your milk happy.
Ooh.
Make your milk happy.
Do you want to do like a little voice for the?
Yeah, sure.
For the little. This is the synopsis of Oreo O's.
It's the stuff breakfast dreams are made of. Chocolatey, crunchy Oreos with that Oreo cookie taste you love. And a rich cream coating combined to give you a bowl full of cookie milk that tastes so good. You finish it off with a smile.
Ooh.
Dig into your old favorite.
Incredible. Why do you want Oreo O's?
Wait, hold on. And now I'm looking at the fun facts about Oreo cookies.
Ooh.
The number of Oreo cookies made in a year would circle the earth 5 times.
Oh my god. We have a sugar problem.
We definitely have a sugar problem. The first Oreo cookie was sold in Hoboken, New Jersey in 1912.
Ooh, we're right near that gem of a city.
And one cookie takes nearly an hour to make.
Oh my god. We got some hustlers over at Oreo's.
I want to go.
Oreo
O's.
Yeah, at the Oreo O's factory.
I'm going to eat a
Do they have
crumb.
specific factories dedicated just to the Oreo O's?
Absolutely.
Probably not.
No. I'm going to try a crumb.
A crumb? Is that all we have?
I think there's only one.
So Roma's been doing a little spec commercial for Oreo O's for her for one of her classes that she's doing, and we now have a byproduct of that. So Alex is trying a singular Oreo O.
I'm not gonna crunch it super close because I know some people don't.
I'm gonna mask it. No ASMR this episode. Ooh, it's still a pretty loud crunch. Mmm. What do you think? This is no milk. This is as dry as it gets.
It tastes nothing like a fucking Oreo. I'm actually very upset that I tried that. Yeah.
What does it taste like? Well, the thing with Oreo O's is that you don't get the cream. You just get the chocolate.
It's like dry
Can I
cream.
try?
Yeah, I can't even.
Let's try. Oh, I don't even have. You
It tastes.
ate them all.
There was
have the
one
dust.
in there.
No,
it tastes
it's
so
not,
whack.
dude.
Here, just take this tiny piece.
All right, I'm eating a tiny piece.
It tastes kind of waxy.
I like that. It's feeding my childhood, just like Indiana Jones.
No, Oreos.
It's feeding my childhood wonder.
Oreos fill my childhood wonder. I don't know what this. No.
Not Oreo O's.
No, not Oreo
Damn.
O's. Oh.
Sounds like we're not getting an Oreo O's sponsorship.
That's okay.
Damn.
I would take a regular Oreo sponsorship if Oreo's into it.
All right. This is who I want to be sponsored by.
Okay.
So Roma has she shot this commercial in our apartment over the past 2 days, and she has all these little plants in here. So I want to be sponsored by a generic plant company because I like the green.
I like the green.
That's all I have to say.
And you know what, Luke? The green likes you. What kind of green, man?
Listen, some light limes. We got some forest emeralds. You know, a good little hue.
Okay. I feel like this is a bad sponsorship commercial.
Oh, we tried,
Oreo
folks.
O's and green stuff.
I like green stuff.
I would
Keep it coming.
I think if we ever at some point get like our own little studio or whatever, also for everyone, I wanted to make like a little cactus garden and put it in my room for the longest.
Alex is trying to do that. We may make a Patreon at some point. Ideally, some of that money will go to developing this show.
Yeah.
Potentially, also realistically, Alex might put it into his little cacti garden.
Yeah, I need something to do. I need something, and like, I don't know. I've just always had that dream, especially when I'm older. I want to have like a big yard with part of it being a cactus garden and like have like a koi pond.
You gonna live in the
Not
Southwest?
that those things really technically, I don't even know if those things could live together, but I'm gonna try.
A koi and a cactus.
Yeah, a koi and a cactus.
Nature's finest combination.
But I think if we do ever have like a space for our podcasting, I want to put cactuses and like maybe a palm tree in there. And
Ooh,
I think that'd be fun.
nice.
But I'm never eating a fucking bowl of Oreos ever in my fucking life.
Oh, strong words.
Listen.
Nabisco, come after this man.
I
Show him the way.
I only fuck with really 2 cereals.
What are your cereal picks?
So my second place cereal pick is Honey Smacks.
Honey Smacks.
Yeah, Honey Smacks.
Never eaten a Honey Smack. Roma, have you eaten a Honey Smack?
No, Honey
Roma
Smacks
has not
is the shit.
eaten a Honey Smack.
And anybody who's had a Honey Smack knows exactly what the fuck I'm talking about.
Jesus.
And then my number
Is it the snack that smacks you back?
It has a frog on the logo for some reason.
I know the frog.
Yeah, just a happy little frog
Yeah.
guy. But it is the snack that
He's green,
smacks
I
you
fuck with him.
back. And then Cinnamon Toast Crunch is my number 1 cereal.
We do have some Cinnamon Toast Crunch here. Or we did. I don't know. Mine, actually my only one.
It's actually the crunch that snunks you back.
Ooh.
The crunch that crunks you back.
Oh. The dunk that hunks you back.
The toast that boasts back at you.
All right, we'll stop there with those. I can't even think of my number 2. My number 1 is Captain Crunch berries. I fuck with a Captain Crunch berry.
Can you tell what kind of person Luke is by the type of cereal he likes?
Yeah, flame me in the comments.
There's no comments. This is
What
a
about-
podcast.
What if we put it on YouTube? Maybe
Oh,
we
okay.
put it on YouTube.
And you want to have...
Listen, I said in the first episode, I don't know how podcasts work. I'm just trying to go with the flow. I'm rolling with the punches.
You know what, though? Honestly, I'm glad you mentioned the Captain Crunch thing, so maybe I won't get as much flack for the Indiana Jones thing.
What, you think that me liking Captain Crunch is as bad as you debating a classic film?
Yes, I do.
Wow. I think that tells the audience what kind of person you are, Alex.
Good.
And with that, with much animosity, we're going to go into our next film.
Wait, no, we have to cut off the commercial break.
Oh. We'll be right back after the break. Is over.
Okay, now we can do it.
Now we can do it. What film are we talking about, Alex?
Oh, my goodness. We are talking about one I've been excited to talk about.
Let's hear it.
This movie frickin' came out in frickin' 1996.
1996.
It's a little movie called Scream.
Scram.
And I'm just going to go into the synopsis. Okay? A year after the murder of her mother, a teenage girl is terrorized by a new killer who targets the girl and her friends by using horror films as part of a deadly game.
Ooh.
And in case you want to look at the cast, because the peeps matter a lot in this, I'm just going to let you hold my phone.
I'm holding it?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Just so you have access to the cast. So, Luke, man, you have never seen Scream.
I'd never seen Scream. And you know what? I liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to.
Really?
I don't really know what I expected out of it. I thought it was going to take itself much more seriously than it did. What I appreciate about Scream is that I feel like it really juggled the the fucked up nature of its premise with just like the acknowledged absurdity of itself.
Yes.
If that makes sense. Did that make any sense, Roma? No. Nice.
I think it made sense because I mean I had mentioned it to you how these movies in particular decide to be more meta than other.
It's a movie that knows
films.
it's absurd.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. I feel like it's kind of like a tongue-in-cheeky kind of vibe.
Yeah.
In my opinion. That's just the sort of vibe that I got from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you. How did you have did your bones chill or did you get goosebumps?
I wouldn't say that honestly, I wouldn't say that any part of the movie like actually scared me very much. I didn't think it was that scary of a film.
It's not.
Even though like a lot of the things that happen are really fucked up.
Yeah, yeah.
First off, shout out to Matthew Lillard. I really like Matthew Lillard. The first thing I ever saw Matthew Lillard in was obviously Scooby-Doo. I watched Scooby-Doo 2 before I watched the original Scooby-Doo. I think to this day I still haven't seen the entire first Scooby-Doo all the way through.
That's gross.
I've seen like little bits and pieces of it. I've seen like the whole movie through like smaller like 45-minute sessions of each.
It's such a sexy adaptation of Scooby-Doo. The first one. The second one.
I just remember the part with Scrappy pissing on everybody, and my 8-year-old self was like, this is not the film for me.
See, and I was a kid who was like, that's fucking hilarious.
I think Scrappy also gets really buff at some point.
He does.
In that film.
He turns into a Megazord version of himself.
Yeah, he's quite the villain, Scrappy.
Yeah. And he eats souls. That's his whole
Jesus
thing.
Christ.
He devours souls.
Oh my god.
Anyway.
All right, back to Scream. What do you like about this movie, Alex?
I love this movie so much. Everyone is a character, and even when we were watching it, it was so fun because also Luke is the type of movie watcher.
I ask so many questions when I watch
every
movies.
question.
I'm so fucking annoying.
Where he's like, is this person the killer? And I'm like, I don't know.
I'm so annoying.
And I'm like, I don't want to say anything, but like, it was cool because it had Luke questioning most of the movie.
Yeah, I would
honestly
say so.
Up until the killers were revealed. And I think that's always super fun. I think being able to watch this movie with friends and it would have been cool if we had both never seen it. And we both could have been like, no, it's him, it's her. Mm-hmm. But it does a really good job of throwing you off of the obvious trail when more or less the obvious trail was the correct way to go.
Yeah.
The very beginning, and I'd mentioned because the Drew Barrymore thing, I think. Drew Barrymore was like very much highlighted when this movie came out because she was such a big star at the time, and I think it would have been so cool to have been there. But in the first 10 minutes, Drew Barrymore dies, and then it shifts focus to Neve Campbell. I
thought that she did a great job in this film.
Oh, she's excellent.
Yeah.
But I think
she's also been. I think it's People magazine had named her like top 50 like sexiest or most attractive people 2 times.
Yeah.
So shout out to Neve Campbell for being popularly desirable, I guess. Good for you.
But yeah, I like the first 20 minutes of it. I think it's really fun. And I think even after the first like the title sequence, you were like, this is cool.
Yeah.
You're like, this is cool.
I also appreciated in the movie how easy it was to beat the shit out of the Scream guys. Like they're just whenever they get hit with anything, face. They're like, oh, and they're like literally they recover very quickly, but they fall very comedically, and it's kind of funny because like they're like fueled by just like scaring people, but they're still just like idiotic high school boys that are like doing all of these horrible fucking things.
I love Jamie Kennedy, and Jamie Kennedy was the guy who works at the video store.
The guy that works at the video store. Yeah.
He has the whole monologue, like, these are the rules of being in a horror movie.
I was like, there's something wrong with this boy.
Really? You thought so?
No, well, not in a bad way.
Yeah.
I think the character was great. I just thought he was like, I'm just like, I couldn't imagine like being like socially around someone for that long because he just made me anxious.
He made me
just the way that he spoke and viewed the world made me so uneasy.
But it was so funny because, like, in the scene where they're in the video store and it's him...
He was kind of a red herring character, I think. That,
He
like,
was.
Maybe he was going to be...
But, like, when it's him and Stu and Billy in the video store and how just, like, sexually aggressive it kind of seemed when they're, like, Stu and Billy are hanging off of each other, but then they're also fucking in Randy's face. I don't know, man. I was like, this is just... It's making my neck out.
You felt a little tingle.
I felt tingly.
You wanted to jump in on the action?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I was like, why couldn't I be there? I also enjoy the backstory with Sydney and her mom.
I think they developed a pretty good backstory with this film.
Yeah,
I feel like the characters were pretty. I thought they were pretty fleshed out with how goofy the film was.
Yeah,
and how. I mean, obviously, you have this sort of larger than life horrifying thing, but I feel like people have done crazy shit in real life too.
Yeah.
Like the fucking Slenderman girls that stabbed their friend.
Yeah.
Kind of similar to these wackos.
No, and I don't know if it's this thing, and it kind of happens with Heathers too, where, the lack of real interest in when people die in these movies.
Yeah, everyone's really fucked up.
Everyone's fucked up.
The only good person in this, in this film is Nev Campbell's character.
And the cop, Dewey.
And the cop.
Dewey's my favorite character.
I thought Dewey was... I kind of wanted Dewey to be the killer, which wouldn't have made any sense because his sister gets killed.
Yeah. Which would have been fucked up.
Yeah.
If it was him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really like Dewey. How do you feel about Courtney Cox?
I liked Courtney Cox in this. I thought Courtney Cox was great. I honestly don't think I'd ever seen Courtney Cox in anything other than Friends before this, legitimately. And I like that she's a piece of shit.
She is a piece of shit, man.
She was the piece of shit that I was rooting for the most. Because I think that... I don't even know why. She was just
Well, for one thing, she was correct about a lot of stuff.
She was correct about a lot of stuff.
She was like, you are so wrong about the guy who you think killed your mom.
Yeah.
And then she comes back in the end, and when she hears everything that actually happened, she's like, okay, it's these guys. I'm going to kill these children.
Yeah, she really did kill minors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucked up. But going back a little bit...
Did they both die?
Yeah.
Yeah, they killed them both? Mm-hmm. I can't remember how.
Stu gets the TV dropped on his head.
Oh, with the and he has a little shock moment.
Yeah, and Billy gets shot in the head. Mm-hmm. He has to get double tapped.
They double tap him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But going back a little bit, because we were talking about who's the really big name guy who's in this movie, the principal.
Oh, you're talking about the Fonz.
Yeah,
Henry Winkler.
Henry Winkler. No, yeah, and it was fucked up because Randy gets a call right at the end of the movie, and they're like, "Oh my God, they found Principal so and so dead."
They hung him on the football. Why am I forgetting on the
field
goal post?
Yeah, on the field goal post.
On the field goal post.
And everyone's like, "Let's go see it before they take him down." Were kids like that for real? Because really, '90s slashers, man, there is just such a lack of
empathy.
Period.
It kind of goes for the '90s. I think it was a little edgy.
Yeah,
in
you
the
think
90s.
so? I don't know. Why was that cool?
Because the world was ending, my guy. I don't know. Y2K, baby.
I'm going to talk about it a little bit more.
Let's hear it.
If that's okay.
Yeah.
Because the thing with these movies is that, especially when you get through 2, 3, 4, and now 5, a lot of characters come back. Now in the newest one, do you plan on watching any of these?
Maybe.
I don't want to ruin it for you.
I don't know. I feel like I'm good with the first one. I'd probably have fun watching some of the other ones too. But...
Yeah. But a lot of these characters come back, and as these characters come back, and they're so good in their roles, one or two of the main characters from the original will die, and then you fall in love with characters introduced in the second movie, and then they die in the next one. And there's just so much love.
You
for
love
these
the
people.
lore.
Yeah, you love the lore, and the guy who Sydney says killed her mom comes back in the second one, and it ends up being Billy's mom is one of the killers.
Ooh.
It goes all over the place, and it's so much fun. And as I mentioned in a previous episode, the meta-ness evolves with the times of what horror movies are kind of.
It's very
coming
tongue-in-cheek.
out.
It's a fun little commentary, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, I love this movie. I love it a lot. Every time I've shown it to someone, I give you a lot of credit for not asking as many questions, but people.
I like to talk during movies. That's my toxic trait.
But a lot of people will do the same thing. Like, I think this is the killer. I think this is the killer, and it's so fun in my head being like, you fucking idiot. Yeah, man. Tell me. I want to hear. Well, okay, I'll rate it because you rated Indiana Jones.
Let's hear it.
This has a lot of rewatchability for me in my mind. I've seen it 1,000 times with all the other movies in mind. I'll give it an 8 out of 10.
Ooh.
I give it an 8 out of 10. I think my favorite thing that the sequels do is they end up making a movie that is Scream in the other movies. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Say it one more time.
So they make, like, the story of Scream is told by Gale Weathers, and they make a movie in the Scream world, and I think it's called Slash. And so now they're like, oh, people are just trying to remake the Slash movies. Like, oh, you're Gale Weathers. You were, like, the real person in that movie we love so much.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know. I love it.
That's cute. It sort of builds its own world.
It does. It builds its own world.
Yeah.
So 8 out of 10. And yeah, that's where I leave it with that, and then we'll do our bucket meter after. Luke, I want to know all of your remaining thoughts.
Listen, I liked this movie a lot more than I thought I was going to. It's just a fun movie. I think it was very fun. I was thoroughly entertained. I honestly don't know about, like, the rewatchability I would have with it. But that's how I am with a lot of horror films.
Sure.
I don't find myself, like, rewatching them a ton because I feel like so much of the excitement of a horror movie is the unknown that you have.
I feel like a lot of rewatchability for me also comes with, like, holding the person next to me.
Yeah, I would totally rewatch this film.
Cuddle, snuggle.
Yeah, you're trying to cuddle.
Always.
I see.
Yeah.
That being said, if there was someone that I knew that hadn't ever seen Scream before, I would totally want to watch it with them.
Yeah.
I give Scream higher than you.
Whoa.
I give it an 8.6.
Whoa.
Listen, I had a lot of fun with Scream.
I'm so shocked with your ratings.
I think
today.